In the shadowy aftermath of the September 11th attack, the world plunged into chaos.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. Two airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
A relentless hunt began for the elusive figure behind one of history's most devastating attacks. A hunt that would span continents, decades, and test the limits of human determination. The name on everyone's lips, the mastermind of terror, the man who had eluded capture for far too long, Osama bin Laden. Many years after the audacious Neptune Spear mission, which sent shockwaves through the world, the captivating narrative of bin Laden's capture continues to intrigue minds. It's a story of courage, cunning, and a daring operation that had the world holding its breath. Join us as we unravel the secrets, the heroism, and the drama that unfolded behind the scenes, leading up to the takedown of one of the most wanted men in history. Born to a billionaire construction tycoon in Saudi Arabia, Osama bin Laden and his family had close ties with the royal family. He studied business administration at King Abdul Aziz University in Jeddah, which contributed to his skills in marketing and organizing Al-Qaeda, an Islamist militant organization with radical views. In the late 1970s, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, and this conflict provided an opportunity for Osama bin Laden to get involved in militant activities. Bin Laden provided financial and logistic support to the Islamic militants who were fighting against the Soviets in Afghanistan in late 1979. After the Soviets were defeated in Afghanistan, bin Laden founded Al-Qaeda to continue his acts of terror. The goal of Al-Qaeda was to continue waging jihad, or holy war, against perceived enemies of Islam. The organization promoted a radical form of Islam and was responsible for numerous acts of terrorism, with the ultimate aim of establishing a global Islamic state. On September 11, 2001, Al-Qaeda executed a series of coordinated terrorist attacks on the United States, commonly referred to as the 9/11 attacks. These attacks, which involved the hijacking of commercial airliners and the destruction of the World Trade Center in New York City, resulted in the deaths of nearly 3,000 people. In response to these devastating attacks, the United States initiated the War on Terror and began actively seeking Osama bin Laden.
Throughout our proud history, we have met every challenge, and we will meet this challenge.
While some know Osama bin Laden for only the 9/11 attacks, he was the mastermind of more than 2,000 suicide bombings and several other attacks and organized crimes. He shook the world just days before the 2004 U.S. presidential election when a tape emerged on the news channel Al Jazeera bearing the unmistakable voice of the mastermind himself, taking responsibility for the unspeakable carnage. Bin Laden became one of the most wanted terrorists in the world, with reward money of $25 million. The United States responded by launching military operations in Afghanistan as part of their anti-terror policies.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against Al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
A special unit was assigned to find Osama bin Laden at the CIA headquarters in Virginia. They moved in on Al-Qaeda fighters who were pushed to the eastern part of the country towards the end of their invasion of Afghanistan. American intelligence agencies suspected that Osama bin Laden was among the Al-Qaeda militants who barricaded themselves in the caves of Tora Bora. The local Afghan tribes fought through the terrain, followed by heavy airstrikes, only to find out that bin Laden had already fled. The battle was won, but the CIA was left empty-handed. However, out of the 20 people arrested by the CIA, one of them, al-Qahtani, would later open up a new lead to bin Laden. Prior to his arrest, he was unknown and unnamed. Seemingly an inconspicuous detainee, this man was from a large Sunni family from Saudi Arabia, He denied his connection with al-Qaeda and claimed that he came to Afghanistan to pursue his interest in falconry. However, when his fingerprints were processed, the authorities found a match in their system and revealed a stunning connection to the events of 9/11. The authorities found that al-Qahtani tried to enter the United States just weeks before the September 11th attacks on a one-way ticket carrying $2,800. However, he was denied entry to the country since the customs officials believed that he was trying to illegally immigrate. He was sent back to Dubai and subsequently returned to Saudi Arabia. Further scrutiny of airport surveillance footage revealed something interesting. At that time, a car rented by Mohammed Atta, one of the pilots of 9/11 attacks who was in charge of the American airline Flight 11 that struck the North Tower, was at the airport to pick up Qahtani. Qahtani was believed to be the intended hijacker of United Airlines Flight 93, which failed to strike its planned destination and ended up crashing in Pennsylvania due to the flight passengers trying to regain control. From that moment on, Qahtani became a key. He was interrogated along with several other al-Qaeda captives who painted a detailed picture of the inner workings of al-Qaeda. Al-Qahtani's testimony opened new leads and insight into the inner workings of al-Qaeda. Through al-Qahtani's testimony, a puzzle began to form, exposing the intricacies of the al-Qaeda hierarchy. In 2004, the details of Qahtani's status were leaked, after which the U.S. Department of Defense issued a press release revealing that Qahtani admitted to following things. He was sent to the U.S. by Khalid Mohammed Sheikh. He met Osama Bin Laden on several occasions. He went through terrorist training in 2 al-Qaeda camps. He had been in al-Qaeda leaders as well. The journey to uncovering the truth about al-Qaeda's secrets was no less labyrinthine. It was like navigating through a maze of conflicting narratives where captives held fragments of the puzzle. And then, a flicker of hope emerged when Kuwaiti entered the scene, a new lead born from Qahtani's testimony. However, the intelligence agencies faced an almost insurmountable challenge. Kuwaiti was a master of deception, a shadowy figure who existed in the murky depths of obscurity. He wasn't a Kuwaiti, nor was he an Arab. No, he was a Pashtun, hidden in the very heart of Pakistan. He had adopted the alias al-Kuwaiti, a cunning ploy to further obfuscate his true identity, all while his Pakistani parents resided in Kuwait, creating a web of deception that confounded the very best of investigators. In this web of shadows and espionage, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place with startling revelations. Abu Zubaydah, the al-Qaeda logistician, was detained in March 2002. Under intense pressure, he provided the CIA with invaluable intelligence, revealing the ominous hand of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, al-Qaeda's operational commander, in the plotting of the devastating attacks on American soil. However, it took another year for the mastermind himself, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, to be apprehended. But the plot thickened as the story unraveled further. Qahtani, with unwavering determination, unveiled a chilling detail. In the summer of 2001, as the sinister gears of the 9/11 attacks were set into motion, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed introduced him to a shadowy figure known as Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. This figure, previously unknown to the CIA, played a pivotal role in the grand scheme. Al-Kuwaiti became not only a mentor, but also a sinister guide, schooling Qahtani in the dark arts of operational security, a clandestine education that would have far-reaching consequences. As the relentless investigators delved deeper into the heart of this global conspiracy, their attention shifted toward the intricate courier network that had been instrumental in keeping Osama bin Laden hidden from the world's gaze. They knew that understanding this network was the key to unlocking the secrets that had eluded them for so long. In a moment that sent shockwaves through the intelligence community, a breakthrough was achieved. In mid-January 2004, a messenger known as Hassan Gul was captured by Kurdish security forces. Gul, clutching a letter addressed to the elusive bin Laden, held the vital link that had long remained hidden in the shadows. Hassan Ghul, under intense scrutiny, made a shocking revelation. He disclosed that the enigmatic Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti was not just an ordinary courier, but bin Laden's most trusted link to the outside world. Kuwaiti was not only the bearer of messages, he was the lifeline connecting the world's most wanted man to his far-reaching terror network. Ghul further revealed that Kuwaiti possessed an intricate knowledge of Khalid Mohammed Sheikh, shedding new light on the connections that had kept the al-Qaeda machinery well-oiled. The ordeal faced by Khalid Mohammed Sheikh and others in the name of intelligence gathering unleashed a storm of controversy and condemnation. The 2005 memo revealed that Sheikh had been subjected to the tormenting practice of waterboarding an astonishing 183 times. The chilling echoes of this brutality reverberated throughout the intelligence community, as it was not an isolated incident. In August 2002, both Abu Zubaydah and al-Qahtani endured this method of extreme interrogation 83 times, raising serious ethical and moral concerns about the methods employed. Yet, the tumultuous journey to unveil the secrets of the 9/11 attacks took an unexpected turn with the 2014 Senate Intelligence Report. This comprehensive investigation rocked the foundations of conventional wisdom. It shockingly concluded that these grueling interrogation tactics had failed to yield any substantial information about the enigmatic Osama bin Laden's whereabouts, leaving the question of whether the truth had been hidden behind a wall of torture and controversy. The revelation of Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti's true identity added another layer of complexity to the labyrinthine hunt for bin Laden. It was foreign intelligence sources, their identities still shrouded in secrecy, who finally exposed the enigma. The real name of this elusive figure was none other than Ibrahim Saeed Ahmed, a Pakistani by birth, with his family having only recently relocated to Kuwait. This vital piece of the puzzle took the CIA a grueling 2 years to uncover, but even with this knowledge, they remained a considerable distance from pinpointing his whereabouts. Yet fate took a turn, and Kuwaiti and his brother left behind a subtle trail that the authorities would ultimately trace. In a bid to evade detection, they altered their communication methods, setting off a chain of events that would ultimately lead the relentless investigators straight to their concealed hideouts. As the clock ticked towards a potential breakthrough, the year 2010 witnessed a climactic shift in the relentless pursuit of Osama bin Laden. A CIA agent in Pakistan recognized Kuwaiti in his car and stealthily followed him to his residence. The plan was to keep a close watch on Kuwaiti, meticulously monitoring his every move until he led them to the ultimate destination, bin Laden's hidden lair. What they observed inside that large, inconspicuous house left no room for doubt. They couldn't help but believe that their painstaking search might have finally reached its long-awaited conclusion. The compound was scrutinized, every detail examined, and the implications were chilling. It appeared that Kuwaiti and bin Laden, the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, might very well be sharing the same roof. The enigmatic figure of Kuwaiti had become the crucial missing piece in the intricate puzzle. He unwittingly led the relentless CIA operatives straight to the fortress where the elusive Osama bin Laden had found refuge. The manhunt, which had been the foremost priority since the heart-wrenching attacks of September 11th, was now reaching its electrifying climax. The task of capturing bin Laden was no longer within the confines of intelligence operations. It was time for the world to witness the expertise of special units. The anticipation was at its peak as the world held its collective breath, standing on the precipice of a momentous reckoning. Osama was living in a custom-built 3-story compound in Abbottabad, a famous and beautiful city in Pakistan. The compound had an 18-foot high wall around it with razor wires on top. Apart from size, bin Laden's compound did not stand out from other houses in the neighborhood. The walls, and it was difficult to see inside the compound from a distance. Bin Laden's family occupied the upper 2 stories, and one of the rooms was also equipped with whiteboard and marker for the children in the house who were homeschooled in Arabic. According to U.S. officials, the compound was home to a total of 22 people. This included Osama bin Laden's 3 wives, his children, and also his daughter Mariam and her children. Additionally, it housed the brother of Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, named Abrar. The U.S. National Geospatial Intelligence Agency came to aid the Joint Special Operations Command by analyzing data taken from drones and creating mission simulators for the pilots. They created 3D versions of the compound, along with the details of traffic patterns, the number of people in the compound, their height and gender. CIA rented a home in Abbottabad, where a team, including informants, staked out for several months monitoring Laden's whereabouts. On May 1, 2011, at 11 p.m., 2 secret stealth technology, Black Hawk helicopters, and dozens of Navy SEALs took off from Jalalabad airfield towards bin Laden's compound. At midnight, the team snuck into his lair. As they hovered above the compound, the first helicopter grazed one of the high walls of bin Laden's compound, sending the helicopter rolling to the side. However, no SEALs were injured. The other helicopter landed outside the compound, and the SEALs scaled the walls to get inside. They breached the walls with explosives and advanced inside the house. They were encountered with a few residents in the first story of the house. Bin Laden's courier, al-Kuwaiti, first opened fire from the back door of the guest house, which led to a brief firefight in which a few SEALs were slightly injured by bullet fragments. Kuwaiti was killed by the first team of the SEALs. His brother Abrar, who was armed with a loaded AK-47, advancing towards the main house, the SEALs were encountered and took out bin Laden's adult son, Khalid, on the staircase of the main house leading to bin Laden's room. The entire house was pitch dark since the CIA operatives had cut down the power to the neighborhood. The 3rd floor of the house was last to be raided, where bin Laden was hiding in his room. Robert O'Neill, who has been labeled as a SEAL who killed bin Laden, stated that he rushed past the SEALs and confronted bin Laden, hiding behind a woman unarmed and with a child in the room. He pushed the woman aside and turned around to shoot bin Laden. Mariam, bin Laden's daughter, came in front of her dad to protect him when she saw a red dot on his body. Desperate to save her father, she caught a shot in the knee. Bin Laden took 2 shots in the forehead and a body shot, followed by several rounds in the chest from the other SEALs to confirm he was lifeless.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda.
The SEALs fled the location with bin Laden's body at the end of the mission, with an extra Chinook chopper flown in to facilitate transportation. The operation lasted less than 40 minutes from start to finish. U.S. forces were in Pakistani airspace for more than 3 hours. CIA experts established with 95% certainty that the body was that of Osama bin Laden by using known pictures and facial recognition software. Other intelligence experts conducted the preliminary DNA analysis, which resulted in a virtual 100% DNA match of the remains against DNA from various bin Laden family members. Legal and ethical aspects surfaced after the killing of Osama bin Laden, and several bodies, including Amnesty International, questioned the reason for killing bin Laden when he was unarmed. Another controversy came into the spotlight when the U.S. Gov decided not to publish any photographs or DNA evidence that it was bin Laden. A Kuwaiti academic said in an interview with a Saudi-owned news channel that bin Laden was abducted rather than killed by U.S. forces. Accounts revealed that there were groups of kids on almost every floor of the house in which bin Laden was killed. Questions arose as to why no pictures of his body were ever shared with the news outlets. Due to these reasons, people started speculating that bin Laden was never killed but was being held alive by the U.S. forces. Osama bin Laden's death meant that al-Qaeda was dealt with a psychological blow. Bin Laden was not just a highly influential spiritual leader. He was also intimately involved with al-Qaeda's terrorist operations right up to the day he was killed. It was the end of an era of violence that followed the gruesome attacks of 9/11. In the end, the mission to capture Osama bin Laden was a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice by dedicated individuals. While the operation was a success, it also served as a reminder that the fight against terrorism is an ongoing and complex battle that requires vigilance, determination, and international cooperation. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.